Hey guys, Dan the Man with Ralston Acres. You know, it's springtime around here at the farm. So, what do you do if you're a Christmas tree farmer in the springtime? Let's talk about that. Okay, one of the things that we do here on our farm in the springtime is mow. Another thing is we do some spraying, and of course, the trimming. We'll probably show you some results of the trimming that we just did in a few minutes. But let's talk about mowing for a second. Why do we mow? And as you can see back here on our farm here, I took you to the one part we had small trees and some medium-sized trees and some larger ones down here. You know, we mow between the trees, and we try to keep the grass down around them. A lot of farmers don't, and that's perfectly okay. The reason we do, there's a couple, three reasons. One is to us, it gives a neater appearance to the farm. You know, we're about a medium-sized farm. We run around 5,000 trees here, uh, and you know, we like to have the appearance as being somewhat well groomed. It don't always work out that way, but we do want it to have a good appearance. Another reason is, and this is probably more important than the appearance right now, but is the insects. You know, as the grass gets taller and it sort of, you know, you got insects that get involved in them quite a bit. Keeping it mowed, we feel like it keeps the insects a little bit more at bay, and it also gives a little bit of deterrence to fungus. And we do a lot of conifers here, and so we're constantly combating Cercospora and other fungus varieties that can actually infiltrate the tree and cause damage to the tree. But that, I think, sort of keeps that down a little bit. We have a lot of fescue in this area. This used to be a cow pasture. So, you know, I've been told, now whether this is true or not, but again, experience from other farmers in the past, that the fescue itself, when it gets up in the stems and it makes the head, that it sort of elicits something that is not all that healthy to the tree. So whether you believe that or not, that's up to you. But we do keep it mowed because of that. How often do we mow? Whenever we need it. Uh, Here lately, it's had, as you can see from the sky right now, it's going to rain later on the day. So we've had a lot of uh, opportunities for the grass to grow. Springtime, especially for grass to grow in, because you've got plenty of moisture. And in our area, we get a little sunshine here and there. And the combination of the warmer temperatures and all those moisture and sunshine, it can cause the grass really to grow. So I'm going to say on an average during the spring, maybe once every 10 days. And that can vary. But as you go on into the summer, when it starts really getting hot and a little more drier, you know, we might tail that back to once every couple of weeks. But uh, especially in the front part of our farm where people see our trees, and it's basically our picture window, if you will, we try to keep that one looking pretty good. But that's the mowing end of things. We mow with zero turn. I think we've had some pictures of zero turn. And on the hills, we have this right here is relatively, well, it's not all that flat. It's a sort of a hillside, but um, we find a zero turn to be a pretty good speed. You don't have to have one of those. Sometimes people like the just the regular lawn tractor. Some people have rows wide enough to where that they can give a finishing mower on the back of a small tractor. Any of those will work just fine. But I want to talk about the mowing just for a second. Okay, let's talk about spraying just for a minute. What are you talking about? What are we spraying? Well, if you'll look behind us right here, you can see that the underneath the tree, we have sprayed basically what amounts to glyphosate, a generic Roundup, and we're very careful with it. You know, you can listen to all the stories about Roundup and what it causes and all this kind of stuff, but well, you know, if you're very careful and you treat it with respect, I think that in my opinion, I think it's still a viable product to use. However, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But we do spray it under the trees again, for no other reason other than just to keep the grass down. And that way, we're only having to mow in one direction, as opposed to sometimes we'll mow in two directions. What I have found to be worthwhile in some areas that we did not spray underneath the trees, a herbicide underneath the trees, is we would mow on one direction the first time, and then the next time we mow, we change directions. And again, it sort of keeps the grass down. I don't think it does. It makes it look quite as neat as the post-emergent herbicide, but it does do a pretty good job, and it keeps you from having to mow twice as much when you're crisscrossing. But I wanted to show you that that's what we do. A lot of farmers use this, some don't. Again, it's personal preference. I think it can work both ways, but especially as you get larger and small farms can get by with the mowing without using this. But I think if you get into larger farms, the time aspect of it sort of catches up with you, and that's the reason that I elected to go with this on not all of our farm, but on a good portion of our farm. And you have to be very careful on this right here too. I'm careful about how I spray. If I've got a hillside, which I don't know if you can see this or not, but let me turn this just a little bit. Okay, you can see that we're sort of at a hill, and you'll notice that I have sprayed um, across the hill instead of up and down the hill. That makes a big difference, I think, as you get a lot of rain. You don't want that. You want that glyphosate to or herbicide to sink into the ground or and kill the roots of the trees. You don't want it washing everywhere. So that's why we did this. And like I said, what we use here is we mix it fairly weak so that again, caution. We don't like to spray any more than about a 2 to maybe 3%, but most of the time it's 2% mixture on this, and maybe 2.5, something like that. But we spray crossways instead of them down, so we don't. When the water flows downhill, it doesn't take that herbicide somewhere else. Some people use a pre-emergent herbicide. Uh, Post-emergent, pre-emergent. What does that mean? Well, post-emergent means you're spraying it on the weed or the grass after it has come up. The chemical is absorbed into the leaves, taken to the roots, and it kills the plant. Um, it does not hurt the conifers here as long as you're not spraying the green part of the tree. If you're spraying a little bit happens to hit the stem of the tree, it doesn't hurt. If you do happen to hit a little bit of the green part of the tree, it's only going to kill that particular limb. That's what I like about this. The pre-emergent is a herbicide that actually keeps the weeds or the grass seeds from germinating. So if you spray a pre-emergent, then you should not, and it goes into the ground, you may not have to spray a post-emergent. Pre being before, post meaning after. So, I spray a little bit of both because I can't get a time of the year to spray where I've got just bare ground. So, uh, anyway, that's a little bit about the spraying. Now, is that all you spray for? Well, that's one of the sprayers that I'll spray when it's going to the ground. I spray another thing into the trees. Totally different piece of equipment, totally different. Never, ever, ever am I going to use my weed killer sprayer at the same with the same at the same time I use my tree sprayer for fertilize and trace minerals. I don't do that. Don't ever mix them up. You want to have a completely different tank for those. So what do I do about these trees right here? Well, on these trees, I will spray about every 6 weeks, sometimes 5 in the heat of the summer, a fungicide and a insecticide, and also some fertilize and trace minerals. Now, Well, that's a lot to spray. If you'll work with your supplier, you can get the fertilizer, the insecticide, and the uh, fungicide that will not counter react on each other. That can be sprayed at the same time in the same tank mixture. And what we do is we will spray the fungicide and the insecticide and the fertilizer all onto the tree. I use a mister, a blast mister, excuse me. And what that does is the chemical comes out through these little spray nozzles, and we have a huge fan that's built in the machine that blows this mixture into the tree. Why do you want it into the tree? Because that's where the greenery of the tree, so to speak, they call it follicle absorption of the fungicide and the fertilize into the tree, and that helps the tree being able to use that as a deterrent to fungus. It sort of sits around and helps deter the fungus, and it also that's what the fertilizer actually gets absorbed into the tree and is used by the tree. Uh, Minerals like iron, magnesium, things like this. Again, soil samples will show you whether you're deficient of this. I do that because typically we need that on our trees, and it gives them that healthy appearance. One of the things that I have been told, and I'm a firm believer in, is if you have a healthy tree, if you have a healthy tree, you're less susceptible to disease. If your tree is not as stressed, then you're going to be more susceptible in fighting off these diseases. With the weather, we can't control. The environmental stresses it puts on that tree, we cannot control. Dryness, too wet, too cold, we can't control that. But lack of a particular mineral or a particular um, a particular nutrient that it's not getting, we can do something about that. So that's what we try to do. And we even spray some things, a chemical on there. Uh, is put out by Regal Chemical Company, Alpharetta, Georgia. I'm not trying to give a commercial for them, uh, but it's called Maxi Green. A lot of golf courses use it, and it helps the chlorophyll production of that tree, really greens it up naturally. And so that also gives that healthy appearance to the tree. Okay. I wanted you to see just real quick these Christmas trees as they are not trimmed. We had to let these go a little bit last year. We only trimmed them once in the spring, and we did not trim them in the late fall, and they just really sprouted out. They had a little bit of stress in them from the cold snap that we had a couple of years ago. Believe it or not, it takes that long to recover sometimes, but we also had another cold spell this year, and it didn't help them any, and we had to get into them a little bit harder. Let me back up here and get you a good picture of the tree. Now they are trimmed, and you can see the big difference between the two. We had to get them a little harder this time to sort of give them a little more training on the Christmas tree shape, but I wanted you to see the difference in these trees as we are quitting shearing for today. We will be, well, we put in another afternoon of trimming these trees, and I hope you've got something out of this video. If nothing else, trimming trees is hard work. So I'll just back out of here this time. But we certainly appreciate you watching our channel, watching this video. Please feel free to leave us a comment below if you would like to see something in this video that would interest you, or not in our videos that would interest you. And also please subscribe if you hadn't already subscribed. It doesn't commit you to anything. It helps us. It doesn't cost you a penny. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Farming Around the Christmas Tree.